Okay, I've got at least 2, sometimes 3 nails in each ledger now, so the box of the frame is nice and stable, and I remeasured the diagonal. It's still 176 inches. Next, I'm going to lay out my markings for my joists. These are the joists that are going to hold the 5/4 inch decking material, the boards. I'm going to lay flat lengthwise on this. And now I'm going to do these, again, I mentioned I'm going to do these 18 inches on center. So on center, from this beginning over here, is not all the way down to the end, it's 3/4 of an inch in. Each one of these 2x6s is actually 1.5 inches. So I've already measured my 3/4 inch line. I'm putting the tape measure right there on that. And now I'm going to start marking 18 inches on center. The first one being right here, right there. Get a little better zoom on that. So that needs to go just over a little bit. Now that's on center. Next one is 18 and 18 is 36. I got a line right there. And so on. Just keep adding 18 inches. 36 and 18 is 54. Right there. And now we're on our way. All the way down. Okay, next we're going to take our framing square, painted nice and purple. You'll notice all my tools are painted purple, so when I'm on a job site with multiple contractors and I leave a tool laying around, if they pick it up and I see them with it later, I'm like, hey, that's my purple! That's my purple tool! What are you doing? Alright, so now I'm going to mark a line 1.5 inches wide. 2 lines, 1.5 inches wide, so I don't have to guess at exactly where center is when I'm lining up these 2x6x8s. I'm going to put a line here, and then 1.5 inches further over, I'm going to put a line right there. So now I just line up those, I line up that 2x6x8 with those 2 lines, which I think you can see right there. Just line it up right there and then nail it home. So we're going to do that on this front ledger all the way down to the end, and then we'll do it on the back ledger as well before we start our nailing for these joists. Okay, next, before we actually put our joists in place, I want to talk about how to determine which side of the board has the crown in it. You always want to put your crown up because if you think about it, the crown is kind of like this very slight arch in the side of the board. And that slight arch, if you put that up over time, the board is going to settle with the weight of the deck and people walking on it. The weight is going to settle down with gravity, is going to also help it settle. And that way, eventually over time, the deck will be perfectly level and flat. But for now, it's going to have a slight crown on it, and that's determined by which side of the board has the crown on it. You always want to put the crown side up. Now I'm going to try and demonstrate that in this video by looking down the edge of this 2x6x8. This is one of the floor joists, and you start way down at the other end. You can see the other end in this video. Let me see if I can actually zoom in on that other end a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Now you can see that other end. Whoops, a little too much zoom. There's the other end way down in that shot. And now as you move up, that other end disappears. And you can't see it anymore until all you can see is this end. So that is a good demonstration of which side of this board has the crown. So we're going to face that up. We got to do that with every one of these joists so that they're all slightly crowned up. Now sometimes you can see the crown just by looking at the grain of the board. Sometimes it's obvious that the grain is all arched in one direction, and that usually signifies that the arch, the roundedness in the grain signifies where the crown is. But none of these boards have the grain to make the crown obvious. So I've got to eyeball every single one of them, and I'll put the crown up on each one. Hope I explained that well. I'll try and do it again if it didn't come out clearly. Okay, see ya up at the crown. Okay, here's a fun trick. If any of your boards are bowed, like this one was, this 2x12, 2x6x12, there was a gap right here between the board and the joist. There's about half, 3/4 of an inch. And the same with that, you can see the slight gap still there. So all you got to do is tie a string, a heavy string, around one end to the other, and then put this stick in between the two pieces of string and start twirling. Start twisting. Let's get that 2x6 out of the way. There we go. And start twirling some more, and that gap will close right up. There you go. Almost gone. That's pretty much it. And then just slide that 2x4 back. You can hear how tight it is now. And the 2x4 will keep the stick in place while you nail that next one. Now, because of the bow and the string, this gap might come back. The nails might pull right out. So you may want to put screws in. I don't happen to have any. I'll actually go look for a screw later when I'm up at the shed. A nice long 3-inch screw will be perfect. Put a screw in there, and that way it won't pull back out again. Let's see if I got that in the shot. Yes, I do. So we'll line that up, that joist up with our 18-inch center.